You definitely have to give a call to Brodie Kostecki from doing what Shane Van Gisbergen's been doing for the last several years to completely sweep a weekend. And it just goes to show how much Airbus has improved as a team. They've really grasped this Gen 3 concept a lot quicker than a lot of the other teams. I believe they're even a step or two ahead of the Triple Eight operation right now for Kostecki to basically, he was basically untouchable all weekend. I know Thomas Randall, Cam Waters, they were close all weekend, but they just weren't able to get there. Brodie just had like a small edge, and certainly kudos to them for being able to do a job well done. And looking at your question, Ben, I think the Enduro's coming up, Sandown 500, Repco Bafflers 1000. It's going to be extremely important for that number 99 Coca-Cola Racing team to truly get out of there unscathed, because the longer races, 500 kilometers, 1,000 kilometers, there's going to certainly be a lot of room for error, especially with the co-driver situation. And Brodie actually touched on this after the race. He talked about his co-driver David Russell, who's done a great job with them the last couple of years or so. But the situation right now is different. Before, Brodie was just he was towards the front, but he wasn't one of the premier competitors in Supercars. So there's going to be a lot more pressure on David Russell, his co-driver, this time around, to make sure that he's going to be hitting all his marks, not making mistakes. So basically, all David Russell has to do is to run a consistent pace at Sandown and Bafflers. Don't get the car in trouble that could potentially hurt Brodie's overall championship, and make sure Brodie's in the best position to maintain his championship. So I really think that, with the addition of the second Enduro combat to Sandown 500, and you had the 1,000 Bafflers, a whole bunch of points on the line. It was, as we saw in last year's Bafflers 1,000 start, co-drivers had a lot of issues. There were like multiple wrecks, multiple cautions, and people even wondered if we even needed to have the co-drivers starting the Great Race of Australia, because they don't, as we know, they're not in these cars all year round. For some of these drivers, this is like their one and only time in a supercar. Some of them have a chance to run a race here or there earlier in the season as a wild card entry. But yeah, the co-driver situation is certainly, going to be an interesting storyline to follow, especially if you're Brodie Kostecki and a team like Airbus, who's not used to being in this position.